Yo, welcome back to the Stuff Whatever podcast. Your host, BQuanchi here. Before we get started, I always like to say the best way to support me in the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's been a while. I was on vacation, so I have to get in a routine. Um, because I usually talk about my socials, and one of the socials I have to change because it's now X. I think we all have to accept that Twitter is X now, as much as it's it is a big annoyance than anything else. So I did update stuff on the channel and all that. But yeah, again, the best way to support me is on YouTube. You can subscribe, watch, feedback, comment, all that. I do live stream on Twitch with gaming. Those gaming streams do get voted back here on YouTube channel as VODs. And X, my X account, for any updates, fun tweets, and all that. It's funny. I did want to also mention an update on the channel. I did post like a community post or whatever. It's one of those things like who's listening. But I've been doing some Let's Play style uploads as well, besides my Steam VODs, stream VODs, I should say. So what happened is that I decided to backlog a bit, but then I ended up backlogging a lot. But in all those uploads, I keep mentioning like follow my Twitter, and is in the end slate too that I do have a Twitter logo. I'm like, that's not the worst. But it might get on my nerves. So what I've just decided to do is like double up. So there's going to be Let's Play uploads 2 times a week, Wednesday and Thursday, probably just for the month of August. I may play around. It's just one of the things if I want to put so much out there, if there's not much of an audience, or if I work a full-time job and stuff like that, so it's hard to like balance stuff. I've been kind of procrastinating on other videos too that I want to do, like some commentaries and all that. But I've been on vacation as well. I think also what I kind of want to do is just test this out and see if it helps the channel grow or not, or because it's some stuff I'm kind of excited to upload or have them publish. Because one of the things I want to do, it's funny to stream, but I kind of want to do like more retro games and do like long plays with commentary and just see how those hit. Nothing too fancy, just stuff I want to revisit anyway. So check it out. I appreciate the feedback as well. So yeah, I was on vacation. Not too much to really go on. Just usually trying to escape the heat and visit family in California and all that. So nothing too wild and crazy. There's some restaurants. I think there's one in Sacramento, one in I think it's Roseville. Families in Northern California, and they don't live. They live like a distance away, but not too bad of a drive. But it's like called Raku Sushi, and you can have all you can eat sushi for $30. And I feel like that's like amazing. In a sense, like you can order sushi like a bunch of rolls, but they give you 4 pieces per roll, so the smaller rolls. But that way you can kind of mix and match, and also have like appetizers too, like chicken katsu is really good, and some mixed tempura and pot stickers and all that. So I just want to go back or at least find like an equivalent here, because it was like fun times with family. I think it's really really good, but there might be some other sushi places that are better, but you're paying more for less. So because you also see there's like Chinese buffet and stuff like that where they have like a little sushi part, and it's like it's kind of like it's a gas station sushi quality, so I usually don't go for that. Although I do on occasion, like some of the grocery stores would have like I think it's a company that makes like fresh sushi at each location. So I usually do that for sushi, but gotta find some more places to eat out versus doing the regular thing. But it was fun visiting family and all that. And it's kind of funny because I was kind of gonna do some writing for videos and stuff like that, more so typing. Because what's funny thing, I usually try to visit family twice a year, and usually like hang out in the guest room and stuff between like family gatherings, most like dinners and all that. But I was like got a habit of like writing my video commentary or scripts in notebooks, in like physical pen and paper notebook. And I left it there for 6 months ago. I'm like, oh, I have it back, so maybe I should just type it out, because I've been in the habit of doing Google Docs, which is a whole lot better. So just because it constantly saves, it's on a cloud or whatever, Google Drive. So like it's no matter what happens with the computer, like you still have access to it. So I was like, oh, because I want to work on this video for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I started typing it like throughout my vacation, but I kind of have it like having YouTube on in the background with like long plays and let's plays and stuff like that. And I kind of got more distracted. Like, oh, I'll just work on it. Like, oh, okay, I'll just work on it later. I'll just make sure to take my notebook. And I didn't. I just left it. And I think my mom's gonna send it to me. It's kind of like embarrassing. But yeah, but point is like use Google Docs if you're inspired to do like even like small YouTube stuff like movie reviews or video game reviews or commentary or this and that. Google Docs, or I'm not sure like what other equivalents are there, like with Apple computers and stuff like that. Although I think they do use Google too. That's just the big one I can think of offhand. But have like a cloud service that does like a good word processor, because I honestly would get Microsoft Word, but it feels like you have to spend like $300 and you have to get the Office suite, even though you just want the word processor. And you can use like Notepad, or I think there's some cheap ones like Google Docs. It pretty much is just Microsoft Word, but it is like you had to be online to use it. So, and pretty much always going to be online. So that's like my 2 cents. But also with the channel, I'm probably not going to do more shorts for a while, because a lot of times that was for like games I play on stream and do like a quick review. Because I've been doing a lot of series. I still got to finish Sonic, Spyro, Hollow Knight, and Blasphemy. I did some. There's one I really want to mix up, so no one's really listening. But I do want to do playthrough of Chrono Trigger, which I beat in my own time. But I want to do a stream of a New Game Plus run the game, because I think that's a little bit different. You don't see that too much. And I want to talk about the game. I even want to do a commentary video about that as well, even though I think I've been mentioned on a previous podcast that I'm very lazy with these commentary. Like, it's been months and months, and I thought I would get to have it doing it on a regular basis, like even weekly. This one script I almost have done for another one, but we'll see. I even have like a few ideas. I just have to like write them out, and I think streaming just helps get footage for it. I think part of it, kind of like my thing that holds me back, is I feel like I'm not as good in terms of talking, presentation, especially editing video. I almost kind of like just put whatever footage there instead of having like a more concise or constructive way. So it feels like it's almost this like random garbage spewing out of my mouth. But there's some points I want to make, so I'm kind of excited about, even though I haven't even played a game on stream, doing a Chrono Trigger video. But also with that, I'm kind of due for a new laptop. Because the funny thing, when I got back from my vacation, I got picked up from the airport. I've been having issues with my laptop in the past. I even looked through Amazon. It's almost 5 years old. I have an HP Omen, which has been really good. It's been good for gaming as well. I'm not sure if there's. I'm sure there's a lot better, more powerful out there. But for what you can see on stream, like I can play games. I haven't played them too often these days, but I play Fortnite just fine, Rocket League just fine, especially like those online games and stuff like that, Fall Guys. So I remember I had an issue with my OLED laptop, which was more like an HP, like I forget which one, but it's like $500 or something. And it's like, unless I play in retro indie games, it's like it struggles. I might even have to play Dark Souls 3, which I have. I also got on deal, I think I said that on a previous podcast, Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas. So those might be fun to stream, even though I'm not sure if I'll do a full playthrough or pick it up from time to time. But what happened when I was leaving the airport is, and I had my roommate pick me up, and I was putting my suitcase in the car, and then when I was doing that, I had my laptop in my messenger bag, which is like a strap I had over my one shoulder, and I just think because the strap was so like loose anyways, maybe I should have it tighter, have like a bag that has a small strap. It's kind of like fell off my shoulder and kind of fell to the ground. It's more slid down my body than just straight down falling. But I think what happened is that it hit the laptop in a corner. For that one, a lot of laptops like have hinges where the monitor kind of like folds down, and it kind of cracked a little bit where it's a little iffy. I had to put some tape on that too, so I'm just worried like if it's going to get to the point that it just kind of breaks off and I can't use my monitor. It's been okay. I think I'm being overcautious, but again, I had this laptop for 5 years, and I think it's been 2 years. I know at least 1 to 2 years. I had to take out the battery because I'm not sure if it's just HP Omen or the gaming laptops, because old cheaper laptops before I just had like the battery that pops in the back of the computer. You can easily take out and all that. But this one is actually inside the I want to call it a frame, like the area underneath the keyboard, like the main base of the computer. But it's like where the trackpad is to the right of it. That's where it is, because it was like swollen. It really got literally got swollen up, and I didn't even like think about it, because like, oh, did it like warp to heat or something like that? But it was like bulging. Like sometimes it got to the point that using the mouse trackpad was very iffy. Like, good thing I always had a mouse to use. And then I realized, oh, there's no battery on the back. I kind of looked it up. Like, oh, yeah. So I had to open up my laptop, take out the battery. I just left it out, and it's been fine. So I have to have my laptop plugged in to use it. But I think the thing is, like, doing some research online, I think maybe just because these more powerful laptops or whatever, is that it's not a good idea to have them constantly plugged in a sense, like if they're turned off, because that's what I would do, is keep them plugged in when I turn off, even though the battery's full, all that, because I think there's something with the battery that can cause it to like swell up, maybe even like rupture, which is definitely not a good thing. So I'm actually just ordered a new one. The second was HP. Oh man, I'm happy with it, but I'm having more RAM to it. But it's going to be kind of similar to what I have, so we'll see. I'm not sure if it's just me. Like when I took the battery out, it feels like my laptop makes more noise in terms of the fan. I think right now it's not too bad, since I'm not running too much besides just the recording audio. But it seems like sometimes like being streamed, if I do Let's Play upload, like sometimes like thank God the game audio can kind of mask it too. But it feels like if it's chugging more, you can kind of notice the sound of it and all that. Especially if I do like these podcasts or the other. I think sometimes when I'm doing a podcast and I want to look up stuff on Google for like a bit or a little research, all that. But yeah, I have to listen. I think the one thing I just having everything reinstalled and having everything transferred over, all the porn. But actually, that's a legitimate concern. But also, like, my little assets in terms of like the channel art and all that, give everything set up again with like OBS and all that. I'm pretty sure my Steam library, at least all the major games I've been playing, have the cloud save. So like, I shouldn't have any issues. Like, because I'll probably have the new computer set up before I do Hollow Knight and Blasphemous next week, so I think that I should be able to like download the game and we'll have my save file from the cloud, and that shouldn't be an issue. But just in case, I still have the old laptop as well. So just kind of like me, just some updates on the channel, just a little bit of venting about my laptop. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like it could have like dropped and completely broken. It could have been like, oh fuck. But I also took a habit of using my old trusty external hard drive, so it's not like stuff are lost. And some of the simple channel art, I use Google Drive just to have it there. Like the worst thing I always download like thumbnail templates and like use them again and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be the worst in the world, and just be a huge pain in the ass as well. But yeah, kind of like the thing is, I kind of wish I can manage, but I was like wanted to do a fundraiser for a new laptop, but I know it feels kind of cringe to see like, hey, buy me stuff if I'm not like an entertainer or if not really like doing much. But we'll see if anything picks up with this dumb old YouTube channel. I do get some monetization, just not much, but we'll see. So next thing I want to talk about is more. I was gonna say instinct to say Twitter, but X and all that, and I kind of ran a little bit with having to change things as well. In terms of like, I got to remember to do that with descriptions as well. But it's like X or Twitter account. But I just think that's like one of the stupidest things. I know people definitely have their complaints with Elon Musk like really going into changing Twitter. Now the logo is visually changed. I think it's pretty much going to be a good long time that it's Twitter is still going to be like a live domain. I'm probably just sure they're going to keep on buying that and have it redirect to X and all that. It just like, I think one of the main criticisms that logo is really simple and it makes you think of like porn sites and stuff like that. Like kind of like how the porn sites use X, like X Hamster or X videos and stuff like that. So I think it's just going to cause a lot of confusion. And I don't know, Tweet was Twitter, and Tweet was such a big brand. It almost feels like Elon Musk paid $44 billion just to throw away a brand because it's definitely recognizable. It had its own unique twist to it, calling posts tweets. And I think they're going to call them posts now. I think that's the latest that they're going to call them post. And I'm not sure if they're like reposts, probably all that. It is kind of lame. And I think one of the stupid things about it as well is that even if we think of Twitter being a huge social media platform, there is a ton of people who don't use it and who are aware of it. So it's just going to cause that confusion with people who don't use it, but are aware of that. I don't know if that's going to make much difference. If not using it is going to make a difference now. But it's pretty much just throwing that branding away. So people are like, oh, what's this X thing? Or they might think it's like a porn thing and stuff like that. So people who are like loosely or barely know what Twitter is, aware of the platform, and now that X, there might probably be more confusion about it. And just throwing away, I think a lot of people like it. With like the bird and tweets and stuff like that, it definitely made it stand out. And it's funny, I was going to say like Twitter was such a strong competitor to Facebook, but now that's X is kind of, I think it still is. Because it's always funny, you always see people like, oh, rest in peace Twitter, like I'm leaving Twitter, but everyone comes back. There's even that, even though I respect the guy, he's a favorite actor as well. Ron Perlman was saying like, oh, fuck Twitter or fuck X, I'm going to Threads. And it came back a few days later and stuff like that. So I don't think X is going anywhere. But with that too, speaking of Threads, I heard, I'm not sure how liable, if it's like rumors online, but I guess Threads lost a lot of users, like 50%. I think it was just like bandwagon, like everyone's trying that out because they were disliking what Elon Musk was doing with Twitter, especially with the rebranding and all that. And again, the big thing with Threads is that I feel like they really rushed it. I think it's fine. I just get really bored with it. I barely pay attention to it. I don't think it's bad, but like for something like the people do like Facebook and Instagram, I feel like it's very mind-blowing how underwhelming Threads is. Like, you don't use hashtags, they don't use like trending stuff or discoverability and algorithms stuff. I'm not sure, I don't know too much about it, but like it feels like a very lackluster Instagram. Like the only positive I can really think of is that you can post links as well. Because I know if you do it on Instagram, you can't really do that. So I think it's good in that way. So we'll see. They really need to like step it up and make sure they have like a website for it. Because like Instagram has a website or the app, and Twitter, X has a website or the app and all that. So it just like, again, to sum it up, Threads isn't bad. It definitely isn't good. It is very underwhelming and boring. But we'll see. I'm not sure if they're losing a lot of money with it, but they could have really delivered it if they would set up just right. Which I'm just surprised with, like, having Instagram and stuff like that. Like, why isn't this platform just as good, if not better? Like, why does it feel so unready when you have all this experience in terms of other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram? So it's baffling. So the next thing I want to talk about is something I learned about with hashtags, and that I guess hashtags can be a bad thing. Because a lot of times when I post to go live on Twitch, and a friendly reminder, please follow on Twitch or, check it out. But I guess having too many hashtags in your posts can be a bad thing. I actually saw this on Twitter. Well, I think it was Twitter at the time. It's kind of like old news that I want to talk about, but I think it's not well known. But it seems like having too many hashtags can affect visibility. I heard also like having links in your tweet can be bad too. Like that's why you see a lot of people like posting like YouTubers or whatever videos. They make a post about it and then have a link in the reply tweet just so it's not in that big initial tweet. I think maybe with the algorithm it kind of treats it like, oh, you're just posting a bunch of links. Maybe this is like a bot or something like that. And I think maybe that's part of the same mentality with hashtags, is that if you use too many hashtags, it might think, oh, this is kind of like an account that's trying to really hard to be visible and have people click it, kind of stuff like that. That's the point, whether you're a bot or not. Like you want your tweets to be visible and all that stuff. So I'm not sure if it's like an anti-bot or anti-spam thing. If it like gets suspicious, you have too many hashtags. And also, I kind of heard in my idea as well as I think it just kind of confuses the algorithms. So if you have like, especially if it's like a lot of different hashtags, some of them similar. Like sometimes it'll be like Super Mario Bros. Movie, Nintendo, and stuff like that. I think if it gets a little superfluous, I can't say that word, it gets like really excessive with it. I think it gets maybe a little confused. Also, if you have like different stuff too, I'm definitely gonna tone it down with like I do my podcast post and go live, kind of keep it more short and simple, because I think it just confuses the algorithm. Like if this is really trending, like do we throw it over here? Do we throw it over there in terms of visibility? I think unless people are actively like clicking those hashtags or searching those hashtags, it isn't as visible. Although I feel like some bots do that as well, or maybe some accounts. Because sometimes when I go live, I get like instant likes, and I think do that message with like, "Hey, do you want any channel art on Twitch?" and all that, which is annoying. I can ground that even more. I might ground that another day. But I think I hear with X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, maybe limit to 2 hashtags if you use hashtags to post. Sometimes just having the keywords, even if something's trending, even having the keywords without a hashtag can help make it more visible than not using a hashtag. So it seems weird because I think hashtag was back in the day the thing for Twitter, and you also see that with Instagram as well. I'm not sure. I mentioned this to a friend, had a conversation, and I think Instagram, 5 is like the number not to exceed. But I'm definitely gonna test it out just to see its visibility and stuff like that. So I guess hashtags can be bad. So if this is your first time learning about it, then let me know in the comments. Like, let me know how true that is. If you heard this as well, what other feedback as well? Because I always like to learn more about it, especially when I'm throwing spaghetti at the walls when it comes to content. Whether it's doing like Let's Plays, streaming video games, or doing commentary or other random stupid stuff on this channel. I like to hear more because it's always like interesting to hear like when it comes to like what works, what doesn't work. Especially when it comes to almighty algorithm, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, or X, or whatever. Well, also one thing I just remembered with X, I think I saw this, I'm pretty sure it's true, but they mentioned that I guess they're going to limit to how many messages you can send, and I think maybe it's more towards people who aren't subscribed to Twitter Blue, or is it called X Blue, or is it called Verify? I'm not sure. Because I'm so used to hearing Elon talk about Twitter Blue. Is it still considered blue? I might have to look it up real quick when I'm thinking about it. But yeah, just having a limited amount of messages, which is crazy. The one good thing about it, like when it comes to people kind of like spamming you, whether it's about, hey, let me do channel art, or hey, how's it going? And then get into wanting to do commissions or NFT stuff, or like spam stuff or scam stuff, whatever. So I think that's going to help a little bit because I haven't got too much. Okay, I just looked it up. This is as of today's recording. I do record these podcasts the day before. It is still called Twitter Blue. They haven't changed the name of that yet, even though they changed the logo. Okay, it still says tweets. I'm like looking at my profile now, and it still says like if I'm looking at my profile. Also, maybe you should follow me on X or Twitter. But still, like when you click on like replies or highlights. Oh, I didn't know highlights was a thing, but I guess that's a verified thing. Or you can check out media post or likes, but I guess the word is it going to change tweets to just post, which is like boring as hell. Yeah, but it's still called Twitter Blue. But people like find it stupid, or when it comes to like being really limited to messages. Although I could see the nice thing about it, like if you don't want to be spammed by stupid people, like, oh, you went live on Twitter, all these Twitter artists want to bug you. And even with that, like message requests, I almost never notice them. I like don't get alerted unless I'm checking them on occasion just to see, just in case something gets missed. And some people brought the point of like if it's something somebody mutually follow and all that, then have unlimited messaging, because I don't. With social media, you're supposed to be wanting to, be on as long as you can. And let me see. I just remembered something as well with privacy or something like that. I think it had to do with like messaging. I can't remember. Let's see. I gotta. It had to do with like direct. Here you go. Direct messages that people said. I think maybe they updated it, but it was like defaulting to only allow messages requests from verified users. So that was like, oh, you can't do a message request unless you have Twitter Blue or the verified by other means, all that. And it was like only allow for people you follow, but it's like I saw some pages like some one of those fun gimmicky pages had that switched and all that. But yeah, people like, oh, you can't do a message request unless that person has Twitter Blue. So just in case if that's news to anyone, like check your settings. But if you go to settings and privacy and safety, into direct messages, because that was turned on to me. And like, even as I get some annoying message requests, probably not so much lately, but yeah, it can like prevent people from messaging you because sometimes you might get something interesting or helpful, someone you want to collaborate with, but something to talk about as well. And another thing I want to talk about this week is the whole controversy with Lizzo. And I think it's still kind of a developing story. Someone like ex employee dancers, a lot of stuff with like, I would say sexual harassment was a word that was kind of used around like on tour, going to like these clubs, like the Red Light District in Amsterdam. You look it up. I think one thing is like eating bananas out of sex workers' vaginas. That's a thing, apparently, to learn. But it's saying like they like a lot of issues where like the dancers weren't aware of where they were going to these types of clubs until they were there and weren't comfortable with it, but they felt like they had to do it. Even like saying they didn't want to until they were pressured to do so. And a lot of stuff like working long hours, being criticized for the weight, which was looked at as hypocritical because, Lizzo's, definitely plus size and she's very body positive about it and all that. And it's like she's like body shaming other people and all that. I think it's like her, she made a statement today. It wasn't really much. It was almost like a nothing statement that just kind of like denying it, but didn't want to go into details about the other things that happened, like overworking people. Just saying like she doesn't, it's untrue and that she like doesn't body shame people or stuff like that. So it was very vague when it's something you really need to go into detail for, especially with all the other stuff that was going on. And there was also like some people work with a documentary about her, I think, that has negative things about her work ethic or how she treated people, being unprofessional and stuff like that too. So it's like one of the things like, yeah, they mentioned a lot of stuff in this lawsuit and she didn't really say much besides like, they're painting me to be the villain, but you're not really like getting much detail about it. Although that might be a good thing in terms of like what her lawyers might advise as well. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like I'll believe it. Like, it's funny. I swear it was a few weeks ago. I saw someone posting about like a defense of like Lizzo and body shaming her. Like, well, she goes on tour and she like dances around and plays the flute and does all this active stuff during her shows and stuff like that. Like she, I guess, apparently puts on a show and very active, even with her weight and size. But also, I gotta double check the show as well because I made I guess it's still called a tweet since they still say tweets on X. But I made a post about it on X because it was an Amazon Prime show she got a while back called Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. And I think it's just like a big reality show about plus size women and body image and body positivity, all that. And it went like how those people, let me just look it up. I'm not sure if it was like a competition. Let me just see what the summary is, if it's on Wikipedia. Okay, it's like looking for women to be a backup dancers on tour. So it was kind of like a reality show, but then I'm not sure why there's issues with criticizing her background dancers as well. So I don't know. and I don't even want to waste my time watching this stupid show. But there's even like one episode where they get like nude and stuff like that for like photo shoots. So it's like being very like um confident and positive and all that. But I'm just like to see like the people who worked on that show or who were on that show, how they were treated by Lizzo. Because I almost would want to hate myself if I was in the position until like, okay, I'm getting out of my comfortable. I'm very insecure about my body, and then I do this on TV. In a sense, it's Amazon Prime original, but it's like in a sense on TV, dancing around, revealing my body and stuff like that. Just to realize this bitch who tried to run the whole show is like negative and shaming people for the big bodies. But yeah, it says 2022, so it came out last year. Let me just check. Okay, there's no really. I actually won an Emmy. Oh, I did not realize that. I'm not sure if they're gonna do more with that. I guess they won an Emmy last year for a reality series, being RuPaul's Drag Race. That's kind of funny if that's true. I'm just like barely googling stuff as well. I'm looking at stuff. It says like some positive stuff, but then again, it's from last year, from when the show was out. But that'd be kind of interesting to hear more about. But all the articles about it is like, oh, it's like self love and stuff like that. So that's the one thing with the controversy. I just kind of want to hear like details about that because that would be enlightening to say the least when it comes to this whole Lizzo debacle. And one last thing I want to talk about this podcast because it's running a little longer than I typically do, just because it's a little me by myself screaming to the void. But I saw this tweets with Justin Roiland of Our People account because he hasn't posted much besides I know it was the issue with his ex-girlfriend, and I guess he was found innocent or charges were dismissed and all that. But it's been a while since he tweeted, and all of a sudden you see a tweet promoting this art gobbler like NFTs and stuff like that. Wow. And then it's saying like it's been hacked and stuff like that, and those tweets were deleted. But I kind of looked into it a little bit. It is kind of confusing because if you go to like look at the art gobblers, it definitely looks like they're trying to mimic some of the character designs from shows Justin Roiland been on, like Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites. It's kind of like feels like it's playing off that design, and I guess it's supposed to be NFTs, but it's confusing because when you see the post, I guess of the art, it doesn't look like that. Like I guess people make their own art and these things gobble it. I have no idea. It sounds stupid, especially since it's NFT involved. It definitely is stupid. So I almost thought like, would these people just like hacking his account just to promote NFTs and trying to like use Justin Roiland's name to make NFTs, all that? Because I was looking at the website, it was kind of confusing at first because they referenced Justin Roiland as Jade Roiland. So I thought, like, oh, are you trying to avoid his first name, like, so it doesn't seem like if it gets worse, like, oh, we didn't mean it was Justin, that J didn't stand for that. But when I looked one aside about it, it did say Justin's name, just Roiland. Even looking back at Justin Roiland's old tweets from like November, I think, or November, October, that he actually mentions this too. So like, oh, I guess this really is a Justin Roiland thing, even though the recent tweets were deleted because they just feel like they didn't want to like do a surprise or random like drop. So it's kind of weird because like it's not just like some random NFT company trying to milk or use Justin Roiland's name to sell NFTs or whatever. So I think that's something he was or been working on. It's just very confusing. It sounds stupid anyways, but I know that I didn't. Did he have Solo Opposites yet? I know there was a clip kind of like justifying the sound change, like in story wise with the show. I'm probably going to do something similar to with Rick and Morty, so we'll see how that plays out because you know had the big recognizable voices and iconic voices you can say with the show. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how those play out. But also kind of behind on my TV watching too. I know like Futurama just came back to Hulu. I feel like there's other stuff too. Some good stuff coming up. With Netflix and Hulu. Oh, I guess once I think I said talked about it on a previous podcast, but I guess Netflix is still doing pretty good. Like I guess they had more growth, even though they've been kind of having those crackdowns with passwords. People saying, "Oh, people are like getting their own accounts now because of that," and then people were like, "Okay, is this going to affect other streaming services where people are gonna not be able to password share if it means like, oh, these streaming services can get more money and more subscribers if accounts aren't shared. But it's all another can of worms and all that. But yeah, the Justin Roiland thing with NFTs, it sounds weird, unclear, but I feel like if he makes a comeback, that's not the way to do it. But anyway, that's just my dumb opinion, and this is my dumb podcast. So thanks for listening if you made it this far. Again, some updates for the channel, some more uploads of the Let's Play style episodes, and stream finishing up Sonic. I always like to keep things organized as well, so you can always check out playlists for like Sonic, Spyro, Hollow Knight, all that. But I'm kind of like excited because Chrono Trigger was a favorite game back in the day. I recently rebeat it, and I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to just play through a New Game Plus, just play all through it and kind of talk a bit on stream. If I had someone to talk to, like, thinking of that fairly on parents meme, like, this is where I have my Twitch chat. This is where I have my Twitch chat, if I had one. But I'm having fun just kind of like recording stuff. And the worst comes to worst, like, it's footage for a commentary video that hopefully I'll get around to. And hopefully when I get a new laptop, it won't be a bumpy transition, but just stuff to talk about this week. So y'all take care and have a good rest of your day. Bye.